Hey guys, back again for another beer review. Tonight we are going to be looking at the Boundary Ale from Moosehead Breweries. Now, according to the LCBO, the Boundary Ale is an American Pale Ale. It's rated at 5.3 ABV, and of course this is a Canadian Tallboy, 473 milliliters. Now, I just love the look of this can. Like, it's got a very classy look going on. The artwork, I'm thinking like Group of Seven style. Great looking can, very premium style. So Moosehead, of course, are a Canadian macro brand. They were my macro of choice. I may or may not have a box full of at least 2,000 Moosehead lager caps in it, and may or may not show that one day on this channel. This is kind of like their foray into kind of like pseudo craft beer. It is kind of interesting that they didn't include this brand in their other line. So, like, Moosehead own the Hop City brewery, which is kind of their craft beer branch. So I'm kind of surprised that they actually included this under the Moosehead empire and didn't allow this to be under the Hop City lineup. Anyways, let's crack her open, see what we have here. Now, I have had this before. It's been, aggressive pour there. It's been at least a year since I've had a Moosehead product, either this or the lager itself. We're going to have to wait till that dies down a bit. I don't know if this has been out. I had it when it first came out, so either a year or two ago, I forget exactly. But when it did release, it actually reminded me of their Hop City Barking Squirrel, which I know was a lager and this is an ale. But I wonder if they share similar yeast strain or malts or hops. I did get some similarities between the two. Now, color-wise, it's definitely filtered. It looks not unlike the Wellington Special Pale Ale that I actually reviewed earlier tonight. Clear, amber color. Of course, with my shitty pour, I got like 4 fingers worth ahead. All right, let's go for a smell. Okay, that's interesting. So again, it's been like at least a year since I've had either this or the Moosehead lager. Excuse me. And off the nose, I'm actually smelling the Moosehead lager. So I wonder within the ingredients, like what this shares with their pale lager. It's not a strong nose, but yeah, it's coming off as like a pale lager. All right, let's go for a taste. Cheers. Okay, interesting. So, from my recollection, this was a very, very malty ale. This might have been, when I was first starting to get into craft beers, so maybe it was a little extreme for my palate. Right now, I'm detecting the hops off the first sip. Now, I know the can actually lists all the hops and malts it used. So for hops, they include Cascade, Chinook, East Kent Goldings, and Fuggles. And malts, Pale Two-Row, Caramel, Cariston, Crystal, Dark Crystal, Munich, and Black. So that's quite the ingredient list, but on the first sip, I'm actually detecting the hops more so than the malts. And it's bitter. Like, from the first sip, followed through over the palate to the finish, it's actually quite bitter, leaving with a dry finish. I don't know if it's my palate that's kind of evolved over the last couple years or so, or if this recipe has actually changed since the last time that I've had it. That's interesting. This is actually tasting more like a pale ale, like I guess it should by style, than like a malty lager like their Barking Squirrel. Very dry, very bitter on the finish, but it's not off-putting. I actually quite enjoy that. I wouldn't say this is full-fledged craft beer. This is kind of like a half step between getting the macro guys off that shit and getting into something decent. I believe this could actually stand up and be included in the Hop City lineup with, you know, like the Barking Squirrel and their Hop Bot IPA. This could fit in nicely. I actually do prefer this over their Big Mouth Pale Ale, which Hop City in turn makes. It's not a bad price for the can. Very, very appealing artwork on the can. I would buy this again. The price point's not too bad. Refreshing. It's a refreshing beer. I would definitely go back and buy this again. I'm going to give Mooseheads Boundary Ale a 7 out of 10. You guys should check this out. Especially if you're a fan of Moosehead or any of the big macros. Like, it's a good stepping stone to get into other craft brand offerings, especially their Hop City line. So, till next time, guys, cheers.